Welcome to the Stack Supplement Podcast, the premier source for supplement news and reviews.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where we round up all of the exciting stories and big announcements shared on our site from the past 7 days. Last week definitely saw a rise in excitement, hype, and interesting topics as a lot of products, flavors, reveals, teasers were dropped. We're going to kick it right off with Gaspari Nutrition, who had a bit of a story to come with the product that began teasing for launch in the coming weeks. And so basically we don't really know a whole lot about this product that Gaspari has coming. As mentioned, it's just teasing it. It hasn't sort of confirmed a whole lot. But basically, this product was planned for earlier in the year. This product was planned for, I believe, they didn't really say exactly, but basically around when lockdown came into play, around March, April. And so Gaspari obviously took the initiative to switch gears and instead of dropping a product they had planned to make more health-orientated products, which saw the launch of things like Proven Greens and Reds, Proven Immunity, standalone vitamin C supplements, and even elderberry gummies. And so that was sort of the story for Gaspari over the past few months. Now that gyms all over the country as well as the world are opening up and everyone's getting back into their routines and working out, Gaspari has put this product that they had planned for earlier back on the table. And what they've said so far is that it's essentially a powder supplement for an extremely competitive category. And they didn't really say a whole lot, but we speculated based on what the brand said, and we have a fairly confident that what we're in for is a pre-workout, with the brand saying that it's for a big category that really hints at only a few. Pre-workout is probably one of the biggest and most competitive out there right now, alongside protein powder, fat burners, and weight loss is another one. But the pre-workout makes the most sense because Gaspari has been hard hitters and had success in the pre-workout market in previous years, most notably with its pre-workout super pump, which is still a part of its line now, but it was much more dominant back in the day when there weren't as many pre-workouts, and it was quite an edgy product back then. But yeah, so that was my thinking, and the other thought of it, the reason being a pre-workout, is because Gaspari had decided not to go through with the product based on the fact that people couldn't work out, which led me to believe that made perfect sense. It would be a pre-workout, because why would you launch a pre-workout if it was going to, people weren't going to be able to work out? And so that's a very fitting mix. The only other category I kind of felt might work would be like an amino, like an intro workout, but that's not necessarily the grand category Gaspari is kind of promoting this one for. So I'm sticking with my guess as a pre-workout. They seem to be making a big deal about this one. I'm interested to see how it turns out. We've been a while since we've seen a huge hyped pre-workout from Gaspari. As mentioned, they've had hits in the past, so it'd be cool to see how this one turns out. But you can get a look and read a little more about what we know about that product on the website, as per usual, stack.com, and just type in Gaspari. It'll be one of the most recent stories from there. And from there we move on to Inspired's Devastate. And when we're talking about Devastate of the Union, the most recent version of Devastate, it was revealed and put up for pre-order at this year's Stack Pro Expo in August, and it had a lot of hype behind it. It kind of almost came out of nowhere. They said there was a new one. We had hints that a new one was coming, but didn't really get mention or tips or anything like that. We got a preview, then we got the full reveal, and the formula on paper is one of the most packed out we've seen this year. And last couple of weeks back, I think, Inspired started fulfilling and sending out all these pre-orders after, again, starting them off in August. The reason we posted about it again is because Inspired sold out on the day that pre-order started shipping and stock was added to its site, because it didn't sell through all of the units it had ordered from just pre-orders. It managed to sell out, I believe, in under 24 hours. So that product was gone before people even knew it was there almost. But they are doing a second pre-order. So they've got a second lot of stock coming in. They've now just started taking pre-orders for this lot. My best advice is get in now, purely because if they sold out in 24 hours, I wouldn't be surprised if they sell out once again. But most importantly is that we're going to be posting a review on this, I believe, this week or next week. But I'm not going to share too much information just yet. I'm not going to leak too many details, but you're going to want to get your hands on this one. You will want to try this. If you've ever loved any top pre-workout that we've rated, or you've ever enjoyed a pre-workout from Inspired, this is going to be, I would say, a true... We'll reveal it all in the review, and the thing is people have pre-ordered it and got their hands on it, so those out there who have tried it will know exactly what I'm talking about. But my best advice is get it on that pre-order, get that product. You won't be disappointed, and will, in fact, if you've tried it, you'll know what I'm talking about, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when we post our review. But yeah, definitely get in on that. The price on it's $44.99, so it's not up in that realm of $50-$60 pre-workouts. It's very reasonable. I'm not sure if they had discount. They had discount on their initial pre-order. It was like a single tub for like $45, and then you got, and then I believe it changed. Yeah, you could like double up and stack. Oh no, yeah. So they still do. Sorry, I was just looking at the prices now, but yeah, so they still do have discounts on pre-orders, so you can get like one tub for $45, as mentioned. But then they also they go as much as $115 for 3 tubs, which is, I have to do the math quickly in my head, so it's $20 off. So it's about $37, I think, around there per tub if you grab that triple stack. So they do still offer discounts, still available for pre-order. Just head to their site. It's on their homepage. And yeah, stay tuned for the review, and again, get your hands on that while you can. From Inspired, we shoot all the way over to Ghost, who this week revamped one of its older products. One of its, I guess not older, but I think it's 3 years old. We checked back. It's they launched it back in 2017, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on those dates. But yeah, they launched it a while ago. It's the Ghost BCAA. Sorry if I didn't mention that, but it's the brand's second amino. Ghost Amino was one of the first supplements Ghost ever came out with, and then Ghost BCAA came a little later. And compared to Ghost Amino, it's essentially a simpler supplement. So it's as true to its name. Ghost BCAA is just a BCAA supplement combined with estrogen for better absorption and bioavailability. And yeah, so it's been around for a while, but for 2020, the company decided it's pretty much time to update the thing. And I have to say, I'm extremely impressed with everything that they decided to do for the update. So the formulas, the kind of features in the formula are much the same. It's still BCAAs and estrogen. However, they increased the amount of BCAA. So previously, you got 6 grams per serving, which was not bad. Far from bad. It was 6 grams is pretty reasonable, but they upped it to 7 grams. Now the key note here is that typically when companies increase the amount you get per serving, they lower the amount of servings you get per tub. So on the outside, you're like, cool, I get 7 grams of BCAAs, 1 gram more per serving, but you get less servings, and it all balances out. Ghost didn't do that on this one. They added the extra gram of BCAAs per serving, and on top of that, they made them vegan fermented BCAAs, which wasn't the case with the original one. So they've added they've switched to vegan fermented BCAAs. They've added an extra gram per dose, per serving. They've kept the amount of servings you get per tub. They've revamped the flavors, the menu. So I believe it's relaunching in 6, total of 6 flavors. There'll be kiwi, strawberry, lemon crush, blueberry, acai, which was the one from Ghost Glow, the beauty supplement. And then they are coming out with a full line of Sour Patch Kids, authentic Sour Patch Kids flavors in red berry, watermelon, and blue raspberry. And the last note, if all of that wasn't enough, the last note is that Ghost is lowering the price. I did reach out and ask, can you confirm the price? They wouldn't really say. They just said lower by a few bucks, which who knows what that means. My guess is $5. I'm just would be if I'm not mistaken, a lot of their products are around that $5 mark. And by that I mean like multiple of fives. So you got 30, 40, 45. All of their supplements are in that realm, if I'm not mistaken. So and their BCAA at the moment is $30 or $29.99. So my guess is that they're going to drop it to $24.99. So Ghost, really, if you're a fan of that supplement, they've just made it a shitload better. Although there wasn't really much to complain about in the first place. They've kind of really made it just a lot more cost effective, a lot more competitive. And yeah, I was quite impressed. Again, all these things usually, with all these improvements that they made, typically half of those things are usually bought down with revamps. Whereas Ghost has added more flavors. Typically when they update, they go less flavors, they increase their dose, and as mentioned, typically they lower the amount of servings and keep the price the same. But on this case, they've lowered the price, increased the dose, kept the servings the same. So it's an all-around like improvement. It's quite impressive again, and I don't know exactly when they're launching it, just that it's coming soon, and my guess is always within the coming weeks, purely because Ghost doesn't typically reveal or announce things until they're pretty damn close. From there we shoot to Cage Muscle, who has been pretty damn busy over the past few months now. They finally revealed the full formula behind the Cage Naturals supplement. So Cage Naturals was announced as a series by Cage Muscle not that long ago with 3 supplements, multivitamin, I think is it Outlive, I'm pretty sure it's Outlive is the superfood supplement, and then Plantain, which is their plant-based protein powder. They launched Plantain not too long ago, and now it looks like multivitamins, the next one to hit the market. They revealed the formula behind it. And multivitamin, surprisingly, it's kind of what you'd expect. It's a very straightforward vitamin in terms of vitamins and minerals. You get your full blend, and they've kept the dosages of everything at 100% of your recommended daily value. So very much like MTS Nutrition's Machine Multi from years ago. It's kind of simple and straightforward as far as dosages of vitamins and minerals go. But the key detail on this one is that I'm getting confused. Cage Muscle has made this thing entirely out of organic whole food ingredients. So each of the vitamins comes from a specific whole food or couple of whole food ingredients. So some of those ingredients include spinach, kale, broccoli, and you can link that up on the label of the Cage Muscle multivitamin. If you check out the facts panel on this, we got on our site, just head to Stacked and type in Cage, you'll come up. But if you look at the facts panel that they have, beside each vitamin, they have they have the source of the vitamin. So for example, the vitamin B6 comes from spinach, so a couple of the other B vitamins, and then they list out basically where each thing comes from, which I thought was a kind of cool little feature, and just reinforces that unique approach of having all of your ingredients come from whole food ingredients. It's quite a diverse, unique approach. I thought it was quite cool. Ties in perfectly with the Cage Naturals series. So yeah, and I'm assuming, much like with Ghost, Cage doesn't typically reveal these things unless the supplement itself is pretty close to launch. So I would suspect that thing is probably going to be dropping in the very near future. As mentioned, Plantain's already on the market, and with multivitamin to come, should leave Outlive, which is that superfood supplement from the series, for launch a little later. From here, we've got 3-4 more stories in. We're going to shoot to Rule 1, who they announced, I think it was, I can't remember quite when they did it. It wasn't that long ago. They announced, it was August. They announced the coming of the Performance Pantry, which is Rule 1's functional line of supplements and products. They just said, get ready, plenty to come. And they debuted the line with a product called Whey Cakes, which is a sort of a whey-infused protein pancake mix, if I remember correctly. And that was the first product in the Performance Pantry lineup. And then just last month, they introduced Easy Protein Omelette, which is, true to its name, basically a powder to easily make high-protein omelettes. And they're continuing this streak, keeping the products coming. So again, I was impressed that they said Performance Pantry was going to be big, and they have really not shied away from that. They're not slowing down. And this month they've introduced Easy Protein Mousse, much like the Easy Protein Omelette. It is a product that you can easily create a high protein dessert style mousse. It's again quite easily. So the way it works is the product comes in little pots of powder where you pour in, I believe it's just like water or milk, stir it up, shake it up for like 60 seconds, and your mousse is ready. It's kind of very, very, very true to its name. You can serve it chilled, so it's sort of like put it in the freezer or the fridge for a bit, and then serve it up like you would traditional mousse. But yeah, the simplicity of the process of how to make it is a good reflection on the macros. It's quite lean. It is just powder that you can mix with water. So each pot of the Easy Protein Mousse gets you 20 grams of protein with 8 to 12 carbs, which is a little high. There are protein powders out there that have carbs that high, but there are obviously a lot more that have closer to that 3 to 5 realm. With 2 to 5 grams of sugar, 1.5 fat, and 110 to 130 calories. So those numbers vary on flavor. So as far as dessert goes, it's a hell of a lot better than your traditional mousse. I can say that. Compared to protein powder, not so much, but I think that the added carbs and calories will probably be justified with the taste on this, especially when it's served as a nice mousse. But so that product is now out from Rule 1. You get 3 flavors to choose from, if I remember: cookies and cream, triple chocolate, and campfire s'mores. You can buy them they come in just the pots by themselves at $2.99. There isn't, if I remember, I couldn't recall seeing a 6-pack or a 12-pack, but they come in pots of $2.99. But then there is a variety bundle that you can buy from Rule 1's website, which is 2 of each flavor for $14.25. That does look like it comes in kind of like a box set, but I didn't see a box set that you could get for like individual flavors. So if you like one, you're just going to have to stick that $2.99. But if you want to buy bulk and save, the variety pack is currently the only option at $14.25, which works out to be a pretty good deal, because again, if you buy $2.99 at 6, that's $18. The variety drops you down to $14.25. So yeah, you can check that out on the site. Again, it's available now from Rule 1. And at the current rate, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more functional products for the Performance Pantry lineup from Rule 1. Maybe later this month, or even as early next month. Maybe another one for December. Who knows? They're moving pretty quickly, and to their credit, they did say that they were going to do this, but brands can sometimes say things and they don't usually follow through. But it's been fun watching them expand this line, and I'll be excited to see when they start, or if they start getting into sort of more edible things like protein bars, cookies, and stuff like that. Because so far they've done just your functional powders and mixes, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's in the pipeline. Again, it's a fitting for the category. We now shoot to ProSubs, who didn't drop one, or dropped 2 entirely new products last week that were launched exclusively at the Vitamin Shop, and they are both protein powders. I'm pretty sure we mentioned this on the last episode. I think we mentioned the Plant Perform Protein. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm pretty sure we did, but at the time we didn't know there were 2 supplements. So Plant Perform Protein is one of the entirely new protein powders from ProSubs, and the second one, which we shared a little later last week, was Whey Isolate, which is not as different as Plant Perform, but it is an entirely new protein from ProSubs that's also exclusively available at the Vitamin Shop. And what it is essentially is a whey isolate based protein powder, not something we haven't seen from the brand before. Like most isolates, comes with a nice lean protein nutrition profile. You get 25 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, with no sugar, only half a gram of fat, and 110 calories. So it's as lean as isolates typically are. 2 flavors to start, both traditional. You got vanilla and chocolate, and again, both at Vitamin Shop. But the other interesting detail on this one is they've infused it with L-carnitine. They don't mention on the label, from what we saw, that the dose of carnitine. With that Plant Perform, they confirm flat out. I'm pretty sure they said added 3 grams of leucine So they kept that one pretty transparent in their additives, but on the way I saw it, they haven't listed it on the ingredients section on the back of underneath the facts panel. If I remember correctly, the carnitine was listed just below the natural flavors, which, if you know, labels means, so the things on that little section is listed by weight, unless it's in brackets, and they're going to be basing it on the combination of those weights in the bracket. But yeah, so it'll be lighter than the amount of natural flavors, but again, it's hard to say exactly what it is, but it is in there. We now get to our last two stories, which, as usual, I save the best two for last, or in my mind, the best two. And the first one we have is G Fuel. I mentioned I can't even say enough about these guys and the collaborations they've done. They've just delivered consistently exciting products and authentic collabs and partnerships. I mean, since they pretty much did their first one. The interesting part, and I mentioned this in the post, was that with the G Fuel collaborations, they've really been the first, and not even the first, just they've had a massive responsibility to take on the collaborations that they have, because they've collaborated with things that don't have flavors associated with them. And they did it with Code Vein, which was a video game. It was one of their earlier ones that kind of stepped outside the box. Because it's one thing to do a flavor with an athlete or an ambassador, because they can sort of be like, I like this flavor, or I prefer this. But with these video games, because they also do one with Twitch, if you remember, the streaming platform, it's you don't really have a flavor associated with it. They have to put together a flavor that fits, and that fans of these platforms and games will be like, that does make sense. And they've gotten better and better. They did one with Sonic the Hedgehog, which again was pretty cool if I remember correctly. It was peach rings, which tied in nicely with the rings of Sonic, of course. I'm almost certain that was the flavor. Peach rings. Sorry, I just had to double check. And so now the big announcement last week was that G Fuel has partnered with another very nostalgic video game in Crash Bandicoot. They've teamed up with them for the upcoming Crash Bandicoot 4. Sorry, not upcoming. It was recently released. Crash Bandicoot number 4, titled It's About Time. And they did... So Crash Bandicoot, if you're not at all familiar with video games, has been around for 24 years. It's one of the first games I ever owned on my original PlayStation back in the 90s. So this is for fans that have been around for Crash Bandicoot's entire life. It's pretty damn cool to see a flavor that you used to eat as Crash on the game has now become an actual flavor you can taste and get energy and focus from it for gaming. So it's pretty cool to see. But sorry, I actually didn't mention that main point. The flavor that they've put together for the product is a Wumpa fruit, which is the fruit from the game, as mentioned, that Crash would devour. And so that's the name of the flavor. But the other, obviously, key detail here is that we don't know what that is actually meant to taste like. Obviously, they're promoting it with the fruit itself, but obviously that fruit is from a video game, so it's not exactly real in association. But I just thought it was cool that they keep hitting these not just gaming partnerships, but they do these flavors that resonate with people, such as myself. And you just can't help but think it's damn cool to see on the big stage on the supplement market, to be able to try that thing that you remember chasing down from your younger years. It's just really cool to see. And they've tied it, of course, with the release of the brand new Crash Bandicoot game. So they're going to be doing the flavor for both their energy drink and their powder. So it'll be available for the regular original G Fuel powder and the energy drink, but the powder's coming first. You can pre-order it now. I think the energy drink you can pre-order now as well, but that's not coming until sometime early November, if I remember correctly. So they're going to be spread out. But you can check that out on the site. Just type in G Fuel. You'll probably find it in the featured section or trending section as well. The last story we have to touch on is very, very similar to the G Fuel Wumpa fruit that I just talked about, and that is Rockstar Energy. Of course, Rockstar Energy, the very popular, very well-distributed, widely available beverage company. They've also teamed up with a video game, which is not something we haven't seen them do before. If I remember correctly, they did it... I'm trying to remember when it was last year. They did it with Gears 5. They did a couple special edition versions of their energy drinks where it was like a kind of what Monster did with Halo earlier that we posted about not that long ago. You got Gears characters and symbols, if I remember correctly, on the Rockstar energy drinks, and there's a promotion tied with it. And that's pretty much what Rockstar has done again, this time for the upcoming and highly anticipated open world video game Cyberpunk 2077. They've basically created alternatively branded versions of 4 of their energy drinks. I'm gonna have to look up which ones they are because I cannot remember off the top of my head. So there'll be different versions of Rockstar Punched, the original Rockstar, sugar-free Rockstar, and the Silver Ice flavor of Rockstar Pure Zero. There are different characters from the game on the cans, and then there is a 5th one, which wasn't the case with, which is different from what they did with the Gears collaboration, in that this is not just an alternatively branded drink you can already get, but this is an entirely new flavor of Rockstar tied in with the game called Samurai Cola. So it's an all new flavor. I'm not entirely certain. I know it's obviously an energy drink, and it's not a different version of one that's already available. It's an entirely different flavor, and it's been branded with like a samurai logo, which it just ties into the game. So the game itself features a band called Samurai throughout, and it's that logo of the band that's been that prominent feature that's put all over the can and ties in with the game that way. But basically the way it works is that all of these cans come with codes on the tabs, and you can use those codes on a website. I believe it's 2077.rockstarenergy.com. And basically you can redeem these codes for like some pretty awesome prizes. Each code gets you $1 $1 gift card for the Xbox store, and then it gives you access to digital comics. I believe it's like you get 1 per code. I think there's like 3 comics. Don't hold me to that. I know that you do have to redeem a certain amount to get all of them, but it is $1 per Xbox gift card per code. I know there's a maximum on that as well. Obviously they're not going to keep giving it to you. Each code that you put in also puts you in the prize for some giveaways. So there is a daily giveaway run that gets you prizes like custom apparel. There's a custom Steel Series headset as well. And then all codes put you in for the grand prize of a completely custom 1970 Ford Mustang. And I'm not talking about like a replica or anything like this, or a toy. This is actually the car itself. They've created this car and styled it after a vehicle from the game itself, the Quadra Type 66 car. So again, another really nice tie-in. Either way, the car looks fucking awesome to say the least. You can check out that on the site. We've got a picture of that as well. But yeah, they're going to be rolling out. I believe they're rolling out to stores now. I had someone ask me if the Samurai Cola one was out because they had heard that the specially marked flavors were and the Samurai Cola was not. But it's a very, very detailed, very in-depth, very cool collab that I thought was just pulled together nicely. Rockstar has done a great job on this one, as they did last year with the Gears one. And it's a nice promotion. And again, it's a nice tie-in when you see, like I was mentioning with G Fuel and how they've brought in together Crash Bandicoot and now Rockstar. I've got the team up with Cyberpunk, and as also mentioned with the Monster and Halo, I've always been a big fan of these tied together things that they basically tell you what things should taste like, and they just team up these different things and take the experience of the game itself and the brand's involvement, just take it up a notch. It's really cool. But for this week, that is all. We'll hopefully have another interview up again this week, and I hope you've been enjoying the regular interviews we've been throwing up. We had the skinny food last week. That was a great sit down and chat, and we'll hopefully have more. We have a couple lined up that we're still trying to schedule and get together, but we're going to keep them coming. But once again, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to having you back for a listen next week.